Hello everybody, welcome back. This is Dave from Schmitt Music here, and we are going to start working through our Tradition of Excellence book. You might notice if you've opened the book, if you have it in front of you. If you don't have it in front of you, go ahead and grab your book because we are going to be going through the specific exercises in the book. But the first few pages are about the things that we've talked about in our introduction video. How to hold the saxophone, where to put our hands on it, how to put the reed on the mouthpiece, how to put it together, and how to blow and get that first sound. So if you haven't watched those videos, go back and check those out. We'll do a really brief recap here, and I'll continually remind everybody of good playing techniques as we go. But let's start jumping into the book here. So to know how to use the book and to know how to play the notes that we have here, we have some pictures that show what keys you cover, but I'll show you here again. Remember, our right hand goes under this thumb hook on the back. So that's going to hold up there. And then our left hand, the thumb's going to be just on this black button here. Yours might be metal, but it's just going to sit on there. Be careful not to push the key right above it yet. We'll use that later, but right now you're just resting your thumb on that plastic or metal immovable little thumb rest there. Okay. Now, next rep, remember, if I'm sitting up straight, and when I play, I want to sit at the edge of my chair and sit up very straight because I want to be able to breathe deeply and breathe powerful air through my saxophone. And I roll my bottom lip over my bottom teeth. My top teeth go on the top of the mouthpiece. I take in the mouthpiece about the halfway mark. Make sure you're not taking right at the end. Put a decent amount of the mouthpiece in your mouth. And we'll squeeze down and blow. Now, if you're too tight, you're going to hear just about nothing. If you're too loose, you'll hear air. So I'd suggest start loose and then tighten up until you get the reed vibrating. And it'll take some practice, and you'll have to do it a bunch of times, but eventually you'll start to get the hang of that. So the first note that we're going to look at, let's take a look at the page here. We're going to learn B, A, and G in this lesson. Great. So we'll start with B. There's some other musical stuff here. If your teacher hasn't covered that with you, we'll kind of talk about them as we go, but I'm not going to spend too much time on the notes and rhythm. Really, the two things that we'll need to know is that thing that looks like an egg, that's a whole note, and that's going to mean we play up for 4 counts. The thing where it's a little box hanging down from the line, that's a whole rest, which means we're going to rest for 4 notes, and rests are just as important as notes in music. We want to make sure we're counting those very carefully. So when I play these, I'm going to count the rest out loud. I'd suggest at first that you do the same, and you can do it. You don't have to take the saxophone out of your mouth, but you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, or you could go rest, 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 rest. But just to make sure that you're not cheating yourself, because when we start playing with other people, we'll want to really keep track of those rests so that we play together, and the music feels like it has a steady pulse. So our B, if you remember your 3 fingers on your left hand, they're going to go, you skip that first pearl on the top there, and I put my pointer finger there, and then I skip this teeny tiny one here, and put my second finger, my middle finger, on that one, and then the only one left is where my ring finger goes. And then with my right hand, there's only 3 pearls down there. So using those pearls as a guide is handy, and you go 1, 2, 3, pointer, middle, and ring. And that's where all my fingers would go. But for the note B, we're just doing the pointer finger on my left hand. So that's a B right there. Only 1 key I'm pushing down. And if it sounds like that, you're doing it right. Now, if you're playing with the pearl at the top here, not quite as, that's not a B. So that's your B. So let's take a look at number 1 in the book, Busy B. Now I'm going to be sitting at a little interesting angle here because I don't want anything between me and the camera so you can see what my hands are doing. Normally, I would say put your music stand right in front of you. You can face straight at it. And when you breathe, breathe deep, breathe so that your stomach's puffing out. If you're doing it with your chest, you can hear that's a weaker airstream. So you get all the power from down here. All right, let's play Busy B, number 1. 1, 2, ready, play. Rest, 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 rest. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and done. If you notice at the end of that music, There's the double bar. There's the thin line, but then there's a thick one at the end. That means you're at the end of the piece. Let's move on to number 2. This is going to be your A. So if you take your B that you were playing, and again, skip the little teeny tiny one here. Put your middle finger right there. And if you get it right, if I play on the teeny tiny one, that's a different note. So, all right, let's play number 2. 1, 2, ready, play. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rest, 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 rest. Rest, 2, 3, 4. Rest, 2, 3, 4, done. Now, eventually you won't have to count those rests out loud, but it's a really good habit to do that at first. Okay, number 3, music in motion. We're going to use both the B and the A. So we're not learning any new notes, but we're going to go between 2 notes and see if we can smoothly do that. And it says there, are you playing with a good embouchure? It's always good to check that. You know? Make sure your lips rolled over. If you're getting a sound like, or it's very thin, you maybe need to take a little more mouthpiece in. If you're getting, that means you probably put too much mouthpiece in your mouth. So you find that sweet spot where it has a big sound and it has a steady sound. Here we go. Number 3. 1, 2, ready, play. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rest, 2, 3, 4. Rest, 2, 3, 4, and done. So that is music in motion, 2 different notes. Number 4, gee whiz. It says, how is your hand position? I think it's good that it says it here, because I think when we talked before in the other video, I said it was kind of like if you take a letter C and then turn it sideways, and right there. And one of the biggest things that helps me is to think of it as if I'm holding like a cup of coffee. A good hand position is like this. It's not like this or like this, because that would be spilling, or this or anything. And on saxophone, if I hold right like here, it's very comfortable. But if I have my hand up, I'm accidentally hitting some of these keys. Or if I have my hand down, I'm hitting stuff by accident. And if I don't have it like a C, if I have my hand too flat, it's really hard. So it should just be a real comfortable C shape. Same thing with the left hand. Just right like that. So, all right, gee whiz. You're going to put down for a G, 1, 2, so where you had for your A, and then we're going to add that last pearl. And if you get it right, it sounds like. So let's give that one a try here. Number 4, gee whiz. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rest, 2, 3, 4. Rest, 2, 3, 4. Rest, 2, 3, 4, end. All right. So number 5 is going to use all 3 notes that we learned. Mr. Note takes a walk. And one thing I'd say, just every once in a while, because this is going to feel weird and it's new to you, check to see if everything's all right. Am I sitting up straight in the chair? You know, if I sit like that, it's going to be a lot harder to play if I'm sitting like this, forward, right at the edge, straight, breathing deeply, and then look at neck strap wise. I want my neck strap to have the one piece right at my mouth. If it's really low, then I'm kind of chasing after it and it ruins my posture. And if it goes really high, I'm kind of looking at the ceiling. So right in the middle, right like that. Here we go. Number 5. 1, 2, ready, play. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and done. So that's it. That's page 4 in our tradition of excellence. If you have any questions, reach out to me in the comments below. Otherwise, if you need to slow anything down or practice it a few times, go ahead and do that. It's going to take a few tries, and just it's a lot of muscle memory to learn. There's a lot of things to get going. But it's kind of like riding a bike, or it's kind of like a new pair of shoes. Feels weird, and then very quickly it doesn't feel weird, and it's just fun. So, and have fun with when you're making some squeaks or crazy notes or all that. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. We've all gone through that. So On our next video, we will hit page 5. Go through the exercises on that. Thanks. We'll see you then.